Welcome back, cloners. We're opening the Cloneforge again this week to bring you a massive 3-roll game of 4-player Commander featuring Rafiq the Mini on the right of the screen. Then in turn order we have Bruna, Light of Alabaster, Noyan Dar, Roil Shaper, and finally Maelstrom Wanderer. Rafiq is a bit of a Voltron deck, lots of value bank cards and equipment. Bruna is a true Voltron deck, except with this deck he went with a draw discard graveyard based Bruna deck. Noyan Dar casts spells to turn its lands into creatures and then uses non-land destroying wrath spells to clear the board and attack with its creatures. Things like Planar Cleansing and Oblivion Stone. Maelstrom Wanderer is once again Maelstrom Wanderer deck, big creatures and haste, what else? Bruna goes first, and the only one with a turn 1 play is Noyan Dar, who casts Weathered Wayfarer. Turn 2, Talisman of Progress from Bruna. Then Noyan Dar uses the Wayfarer to get a land. Bruna's play that turn was fair, but Noyan Dar's was way fairer. Alright. Explore from Maelstrom Wanderer, who now has 3 lands that all produce red and green mana. Slow start from Rafiq. On turn 3, apparently looking for mana, Bruna casts Unquestioned Authority on the Wayfarer to draw a card, making it protection from creatures. Nothing exciting from anyone else this turn, but note the Hall of the Bandit Lord from the Rafiq player. Wayfarer finds Command Tower. On Maelstrom Wanderer's turn, he finds his first blue mana and then uses Acidic Slime to blow up Bruna's Core Haven. Then on Rafiq's turn, Rafiq joins the battle with haste, and Rafiq pays 3 life into the Hall of the Bandit Lord to attack the Bruna player for 8 commander damage. Solemn Simulacrum from Noyan Dar for some land ramp, and Hellkite Tyrant from Maelstrom Wanderer for some infinite artifact ramp. No attacks on Rafiq's turn, and Bruna casts Thirst for Knowledge to draw cards and discard auras. Still no main phase plays from Bruna. A Core Haven of his own from Noyan Dar. Instead of just attacking someone, the Wanderer player instead rolls a die and randomly chooses to attack the only player with an untapped Core Haven. Noyan Dar uses the Core Haven to prevent the damage and not lose his artifacts to the Hellkite. Wanderer then casts Kodama's Reach for a potential next turn commander. Wanderer also casts Phyrexian Metamorph to copy Acidic Slime and then uses it to blow up Noyan Dar's Core Haven. Fair game all around. Oh, and Clone Count Uno. Clone Count Dos on Rafiq's turn when he casts his own Phyrexian Metamorph to copy Hellkite Tyrant and give it haste from the Hall of the Bandit Lord, paying a total of 5 life. Rafiq then sends the hasty double striking dragon at Noyan Dar. He must want that robot. In response, Noyan Dar casts Swords to Plowshares on the dragon, but Rafiq is ready with the Band Charm for the counter. Rafiq really wants that robot. Noyan Dar takes 14 damage and loses a Solemn. Another land pass from Bruna, and a Myriad Landscape activation from Noyan Dar at the end step. ND plays Maze of Ith on his turn, and Noyan Dar Roil Shaper enters the battlefield. Maelstrom Wanderer joins the battle on his next turn, cascading into Farseek, and then into maybe the best creature he can cascade into, Dragon Lord Atarka. Dragon Lord shoots and kills Noyan Dar. The Hellkite then attacks Rafiq, dealing and stealing 7 damage and 2 artifacts. Then on Rafiq's turn, he casts Wargate for 5 to put Finest Hour into play. He then attacks Bruna for lethal commander damage, but Bruna is ready with the Path to Exile. Nothing once again from Bruna. Then Oblivion Stone from Noyan Dar, who then uses it when Wanderer attacks him all out. Bruna also sacks his Strip Mine to blow up Rafiq's Hall the Bandit Lord. No more hasty creatures. Then Worldbreaker from Wanderer to exile Noyan Dar's Maze of Ith. Tezzerator from Rafiq player, who then searches up and plays Lightning Greaves, or puts it in play. Haste is very important to this deck. Austere Command from Bruna on Bruna's turn, because Rafiq not having haste is important to him. Noyan Dar attacks and kills Tezzeret with his land, and then Noyan Dar rejoins the battle. Maelstrom Wanderer then gets cast from hand, casting into Solemn Simulacrum, and Stingerfling Spider, which doesn't do anything. He attacks, dealing 4 damage to Bruna and 7 damage to Noyan Dar. Post-combat, Eternal Witness is cast to return Worldbreaker to hand. Rafiq puts Greaves back on top of his library with Academy Ruins, draws it, and casts it. That is a man who desperately wants haste. Land, then pass from Bruna. Noyan Dar is much more active on his next turn, with Rite of Replication kicked on the Eternal Witness, getting back 5 cards from his graveyard when the clone's ETB. He discards out his instep. Wanderer casts Worldbreaker to exile Noyan Dar's Core Haven, ridding it once again, but this time permanently. Wanderer attacks Bruna and Noyan Dar again. Bruna takes 6. Noyan Dar blocks with enough creatures to not take any damage and to also kill the Worldbreaker. Rafiq comes back out, and as the Lightning Greaves are about to go on him, Noyan Dar turns him into a farmer. Then on Noyan Dar's turn, he gets into this game hard with Avacyn, Angel of Hope. He then attacks the Wanderer player for 4 damage. On Wanderer's turn, due to his inability to deal more damage to Noyan Dar, he actually starts attacking Rafiq for 10 damage and Bruna for 7 commander damage. Maelstrom Wanderer then casts Green Warden of Marassa to return the Metamorph and get his own Avacyn Angel of Hope. Clone count 8. Academy Ruins gets back Rafiq's Angel of Hope Metamorph, clone count 9. He suits it up and then attacks Bruna. Bruna takes 10 damage. Noyan Dar takes 2 damage from the Sword and Fire and Ice trigger when it connects. With nothing else much to do, Aura Touched Mage comes out for Bruna as a last-ditch effort to block some damage from a triple Avacyn board threat. Anyone else missing the old clone legend rule now? On Noyan Dar's turn, he uses Return to Dust to exile a Wanderer's Avacyn, since it's an artifact, and the Greaves on Rafiq's artifact Avacyn, since he can't exile Avacyn. Noyan Dar attacks Wanderer for a bunch. Wanderer blocks and takes 8 damage. Wanderer then uses Worldbreaker's effect to get it back in hand and cast it to exile Noyan Dar's creature land. Wanderer attacks, Noyan Dar blocks, he loses creatures, Noyan Dar's are indestructible, and he takes 2 damage. On Rafiq's turn, he goes to cast Eldrazi Conscription on his Avacyn when Noyan Dar has all the answers with Torrential Gearhulk to flash back the Return to Dust to exile Rafiq's Avacyn, also fizzling the Aura. Sun Titan from Bruna to get back a land from the graveyard, and then with the Lightning Greaves assist, an attack at Wanderer for 6 damage and another land back into play. Noyan Dar attacks Wanderer for a lot. Wanderer then attacks Bruna, but Bruna nullifies the attack with Core Haven since Rafiq is unlikely to have haste anyway. Wanderer wanted to lose his commander so he can recast it and get more cascades. On Rafiq's turn, he casts Return to Dust to exile the Torrential Gearhulk and the Aura-touched Mage's Angelic Destiny. Bruna then casts Mammoth Umbra on his mage and attacks and ends Rafiq's game since he can't get through to Noyan Dar anyway. Then on Noyan Dar's turn, he seals the game with Planner Outburst Awakened to get a land creature and blow up Wanderer and Bruna's creatures. Aura-touched Mage comes back out and gets another Aura, though it shouldn't have since Totem Armor. It doesn't matter though, since Noyan Dar has enough power to attack and finish off the low life totals of both Bruna and Wanderer, winning the game for the obscure Noyan Dar Roil Shaper. So Bruna had Fated Retribution in hand for most of that game, but once everyone else had Avacyns, it was basically a dead card. I guess he could have used it to scry too. Not really sure why, but Wanderer and Rafiq formed a pseudo-partnership early on in that game. I guess they were both aggressive players fighting the control players. Friendship. Bruna had haste and enough mana to cast an attack with her commander, but I guess was lacking enough auras in the yard to one-shot someone, hence why she was never cast. She also would have had trouble getting around Noyan Dar's Avacyn defenses. Wanderer mounted a successful board presence and offense that game, but you could tell once he lost his Avacyn, Noyan Dar's Avacyn punished him for it. Noyan Dar had all the answers there at the end of the game, and the other players were nearly out of cards in hand. So lesson here is Avacyn is very good. Oh, and a Rite of Replication kicked on Internal Witness is also very good. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching this game of Commander. Check out the vid description for available deck lists, and until next time, the Cloneforge is closed.